and welcome to Power Brief. It is the month of April amidst the corona pandemic worldwide. We are seeing political leaders, the clergy, stakeholders and corporates coming on board to try to find solution to this menace. But as that happens, here back in Kenya, we are looking into one of the most dueling contests in the ruling party, that is the Jubilee Party. Many people are asking themselves, why does such a thing happen at a time when the country and the globe, the entire globe is facing a pandemic? And tonight we are joined by Honorable David Sudi, who is a party leader of New Democrats Party. He will take us through the history of Kenya, how the political parties have been formed, how they are fared on, and if at all it is meant for what the constitution intends, or it's something like borrowing a suit, go to a ceremony, then go back and surrender it. My name is Cornelius Omuse, and I welcome you to join us on this powerful discussion to the end. Mheshimiwa, good evening.
Good evening, thank you.
How have you been since we were here last time?
Yes, I've been well, and I thank you for hosting me last time. And I think things are going on well.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We are trying to establish foundations upon which Kenyan political parties are built. We are glad you were there when President Kenyatta was there, when KADU and KANU were being formed, when Moi was in power, and also when Kibaki was in power, and luckily enough when we are having Jubilee, and finally the New Democrats Party, which you are the party leader. Now, will you kindly take us briefly to know the main essence or the main reason as to why the Constitution envisages the existence of political parties?
Thank you very much. First of all, one of the problems which we are facing now is because the foundation of our political parties from day one was not perfect. It was not perfect because as soon as we came from colonialism and we got political parties, political parties, they are not by name. They were given an image of a certain animal or something, which is contrary to, which we have come to learn that it was contrary in the first place. Because symbols of political parties are idols, and it's against God's principle, second commandment. This has been the problem all through, because with the symbols of political parties, as we are associated with the party, and if we are not the elected person in that party, then that symbol alone was a problem to God first of all, because people end up worshipping because it formed the government. For example, let me give you an example. Because I was in KANU. KANU, the symbol is a cockerel up to now. Cockerel. I remember when I was in KANU, I could say, Nahomba Serikali Yako Tukufu, which is a form of worship. So it is being taken by a cockerel power a party, meaning we are worshipping that party.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Now, we've seen the Jubilee Party, how they came to power in 2013. And in 2017, all of them came and said, we want to build one party that will unite the country. 2 weeks ago, after the deputy president held a presser, the next morning, what followed him was the changes in the party, and then he answered back and said that some conmen have fraud. In fact, let me use this word, fraudsters have taken over the party.
Yes.
What is your take? A ruling party fighting when the country is facing one of the greatest threats in human history?
Yeah. Well, it is on the same, based on the same principle of idolism, because Jubilee was only for two people. two people coming together for their own interests. Selfishness. It is like I, me, and myself syndrome, which has affected everybody. Now, they have come to one house whereby everyone wants to be the boss.
How many people want to be the boss in this scenario?
There are two people who are fighting. So let one person complete his term, and then you say, now, can I be there? You start fighting again. You are not losing if you obey your boss until the end. But when you start showing up when we are still on the journey, it becomes what can I say? Becomes an disrespect to who is your boss.
So many people want to establish, Mheshimiwa, that why is it these are ruling party with a majority of members of parliament, majority governors, majority members of county assemblies. Many people are wondering, why is this war happening at a time when the country is fighting corona?
Yes, because
couldn't it wait? That's the question people want to get, and also from you as an elder who has observed political party machinations since independence.
One of the problems is the leaders are relying on the people, and the people are misleading them. You see, if I'm a leader, I should hold on what people say. People are saying now this, the president is undermining you or this way. If I was a leader like the deputy president, I would keep quiet. I would not be answering these things because even in law, in court, says whatever you say will be used as to charge you in court of law.
We'll come into that towards the end, because you'll be given an opportunity to tell something the Jubilee House as a neighbor, because you also have your house that is a New Democrats. Briefly, at some point during the clamor for multi-party, the president then, the late President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, said, hii vyama vingi mnavitaka lakini itakuja ipasue nchi into tribal kingdoms. Did the prophecy come to pass?
Yes, it has come to pass, because I remember in 1992, when at the height of multipartyism, the late President Moi said, these many political parties will bring problems to the country. And it is indeed, it does. Because even every household in Kenya now, there are so many parties, political parties. If you go to register political parties, there are over 60-something or 70-something political parties. Everybody is on his own. So it is true. It has come to pass.
About people coming together and all that.
Yes.
Now, we have around 100, you said 70, but we have got over 160 political parties in Kenya, but only a few of them comes to the limelight. We hear of the Jubilee, we hear of the ODM and the New Democrats that is coming on board. Why don't we have all these parties either merging and be like the United States of America, where you're either Democrat or you're a Republican? So people have got two different views, not having hundreds of political parties.
It is reaching that time, because it says, in Swahili it says, mchinga kerevuka mwerewa kwa mashakane. It has reached a stage whereby so many political parties will filter into one or two. And those now people are getting cleverer and cleverer. We used to follow human beings. You used to follow leaders. You know, remember during the change of the constitution, there were some people who never even could not read what is in the constitution, and says, if atakama Raila amesoma or kama Ruto amesoma ama Uhuru amesoma, utafuata hiyo, which means he doesn't want to change. But you see, when he says that, there are so many masters which you can carry. That one person was misled. He misleads the community. So we need to change, and we have people who are now learned, who can differentiate between left and right. Yes, and I suggest that political parties, we remove symbols, we use colors. It's better we use colors. Like my party now is adopting a blue color. Because we are the new Democrats, and we shall be new all the time.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. You talked of selfishness, which has been bringing these parties together, how these people are working together. They do not confine to what the Constitution dictates them to do. Why do you think New Democrats is not the same as also these other parties? What makes you to stand out uniquely, or what are you envisioning as a party leader for this country and the future generations?
Thank you for that question, because God has sent me, just the way He sent Moses in the land of Israel, to go back to Egypt to bring the children who are, because He has heard the cries of the children of Israel. So He has heard the cries of Kenyans. Kenyans is second to Israel. Israel, remember in the Bible, in Genesis 4:19, they say there's a man called Lamech who had 2 wives. The descendants of the first wife, Ada, is Israel. The descendants of the second wife is Kenya, which is for 2 tribes of Kenya. And this is confirmed in before they crossed the River Jordan. God told Moses, create 6 cities, 3 cities before River Jordan and 3 cities after. And then create another 42 cities. God remember that it is this tribe of Kenyans. Now, every tribe in Kenya lives in a city. Now, since the promise of entering Canaan still stands, you remember God told Abraham, He moved Abraham from a city called Ur in the Chaldeans and moved all the way to Egypt and then to Canaan. Now, God has given me that He's going to raise 7 generations. And these 7 generations, each is going to live minimum of 7 years. And this will be, it is biblical. It is going to pass. It is in Genesis 4:24. So I'm here to take the people of Kenya to Canaan. Now God has given us a bridge to cross over to the River Jordan to go to Canaan. Now Uru, the town where Abraham came from, it was Uru, U for Uru, and R for Ruto. When they came to the desert, Raila was supposed to take them to Canaan. But he reached River Jordan and he found that there were crocodiles. He didn't see the bridge because himself, he couldn't see.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. We'll come into that in the next phase of the show. I'm glad you've really spoken about godliness and God's principles, and you've quoted verses of the Holy Book. Looking at how the political parties are fared in Kenya, has the church played its crucial role in bringing people together and also educating people on what really the Constitution and the law says about political parties and the impact of political parties to their lives?
The church has not played a good role, because when you go to church, they say, no, don't bring politics here. And that is where the church has failed, because they're supposed to guide the people, say, which is the right party. Or why? It is because the church sees those symbols, and they know that it's against what God is saying. And that's why they keep quiet.
So they have been keeping quiet. On the next part of the show, we are coming into that. The role of the church, what they can do, and the position the prominent position that they can play towards saying that now we have a country that has got stable political parties that can transform the lives of the people. We go for a short commercial break. As we come back, we'll be looking into the ways forward, the role of the church, the clergy, and other stakeholders towards seeing that Kenya rises to the occasion, and finally we get to have political parties that lives beyond personalities, that lives beyond particular names, but it serves the generation and generations to come. The role of the youth towards seeing that they rise up to the occasion and take over leadership positions. It's been a tradition since independence that after every general election we have cases of political parties wrangles coming up saying that we agreed on this and this is not happening. Our Honorable David Sudi is in the house. He's taking us through the history of Kenya. He himself as a party leader and a person who was in leadership of former political parties. Join us on Power Brief, and you can even engage us live on our social media platforms, and our SMS number has been displayed on the screen. Keep it on CAK TV.
The PCEA Youth Department, in conjunction with CAK TV, brings you Youth Week 2020 right at the comfort of your home. Right Reverend Julius Mamba, the moderator of the 22nd General Assembly, in conjunction with Reverend Anton Miringu, the Youth Director, will launch the Youth Week right here live on Monday, the 21st April at 7 a.m. Following the launch, there will be daily devotions shared by the youth from various locations, i.e. Ruiru Presbytery, Milimani North, Othaya, and Nakuru East Presbytery. Stay tuned for lunch hour worship sessions as well as daily worship sessions by the youth from all across Kenya. The theme of this year's Youth Week is Grace for Excellence from the book of 2 Peter 3:18. The climax will be observed on Sunday the 26th with the youth conducting their services live on CAK TV.
All right, many thanks for tuning in to Power Brief on CAK TV. We appreciate your overwhelming responses on our social media platforms and also on our SMS number. Tonight, we look into foundations of political parties in Kenya. And we are fortunate to have a party leader who is with us in the house, and he says he has got a new idea basing on what he has gathered in the field for more than 40 years that he's been into politics. We are looking into reasons as to why that after each and every general election in Kenya, we have wrangles, we have disputes. And the evident one is a Jubilee Party wrangle that is being exhibited at the moment, where two factions are fighting for the control of the party. Should this continue, or is there a way forward that can stop these and then leaders concentrate towards serving people after each and every general election? Thank you for joining us on this powerful edition as we try to focus on this matter of foundations of political parties in Kenya. Mheshimiwa, before we went for a quick commercial break, we were looking into the role of the church. Is it in order to say that the church cannot participate in politics?
No, the church should participate in politics because let me give you a reference between Israel, the children of Israel, in comparison with Kenya. The children of Israel were being led by God, and Moses was the leader, was picked by God. The Levites are like pastors in Kenya, or the clergy. And Moses is like the government or the presidential team leading the people. But he was listening to the voice of God. That's why he could listen, he could take them all through. In Kenya, there is no voice, there is that voice from the church, which is supposed to be followed by the political leaders, is not there. Because the politicians, somehow they have gotten a way of I don't know how I can put it. I've gotten a way of using resources to bring down or to give through the church funds, and people have started worshiping now these things. You remember, there's a saying when I was growing up that God made man, man made money, man made man mad. Now, this money, which is being displayed to all the places, the church, the clergy has also become a victim, because they start again worshiping me because I'm the one to give them money because of poverty, which is ravaging all over. So, and this is where New Democrats is going to is addressing, so that all the people they'll find that they have money within themselves, they can afford, and we will march on. Now, and that is why God has given us New Democrats, because the symbols are preached. We are going to Canaan now, because the promise of going to Canaan still stands. And this preach asks for 2 pillars, which means all the 42 tribes of Kenya is all the one to preach. And then, since we are going to Canaan, land of milk and honey, we are going to give. We have taken care of our members by having a cooperative society. We have become the only political party caring the welfare of the people. And the way we are going to do is to put them in groups of 10 in every polling station. Those members who are registered in the polling station will give them 1 cow. But they will own this cow in shares. This is a project which comes from Saudi Arabia. And you know, Saudi Arabia was where Akka went to. When you remember the story of Sarah and the maid Akka, and he took his son Ismail. Then he was told, go back. So that was Mecca now. That's Mecca in Saudi Arabia. So it's something which has grown up there. So we are bringing it back to Kenya now, so that it is people will not be poor again.
So you are focused into economic empowerment,
yes,
and actions before and after general elections.
Correct.
Now, Mheshimiwa, we've had cases in our past edition where youth talk of being sidelined when they want to vie for political seats. They talk of party leadership even denies them tickets. Others cannot afford money to buy tickets. It's unfortunate that we hear sometimes that youth do buy tickets. Globally, a number of youths have come up to take over leadership, like the Social Democratic Party in Finland gave a young person of 32 years to be the prime minister. Is your party coming up with such a platforms to see that potential youth are able to take over leadership of the country?
Yeah, our party is coming up, because when the youth between the ages of 25 to 40 years there to contest, welcome them in their numbers, 50-50, ladies 50, they all compete, and we'll encourage because in this constitution there is 2/3 gender rule. which this parliament has failed. And we're expecting a snap election to happen because the constitution will cause a snap election in 2020. Because this is the year, we have completed 40 years. If we follow what is in the Bible, 20 plus 20 is 40. And there will be a snap election anytime now because that two-thirds change the rule. Because Parliament failed to implement it. And it was put there purposely for this Parliament to fail. And so that Kenyans now can go to Canaan, the land of milk and honey.
Is your canon same with that one of Raila, or you have a different canon?
By the way, that issue of Canaan, it was stolen from me. I'm the vision carrier. It was stolen by Raila because when he saw that Jubilee has formed, the Jubilee was called itself Jubilee, he looked again for another way of getting so that they compete, but he didn't have the vision. So somebody misadvised Raila, and Raila took over to quote in that because I had actually we had mentioned.
Because some of our viewers had started thinking that you are pulling the same direction with Raila.
Yeah.
Kumbe, it is different thing. You came up with the idea,
Yes.
then it also spill over to him.
Yes, yes. So this is now the right thing because if you see, we have the summit who are the owners of the party. The summit are the owners of the political party, New Democrats, because and the summit T, the first T stands for Roman Catholic Church. The H is for the Protestant churches. The E is for the evangelical churches, and S, I'm the party leader. U is a chairman, and M, the first M is the Secretary General, and the second M is the treasurer, and I is for Islam, and T, the last T is Seventh-day Adventist. Now, my name is David, and when I went in the Bible, when David visited, went to see his brothers, found that they were fighting. There was Goliath who was threatening, and David took 5 stones. These 5 stones, one is for Roman Catholic, another stone for the Protestant, the second one, the third stone is for evangelicals, the fourth stone for Islam, and the fifth stone is for Seventh-day Adventists. Now, I'll remove these stones, and now because the person who is supposed to lead us is the president. This is according to Joshua 10, if you interpret what happened in Kibera that day. And I wish we could have a PowerPoint. Where
We'll come into that at another edition.
Okay. Now, this is actually the right party, and I would like the youth to join up so that they can have God is placing Kenya, and Kenya is going far.
Now, our focus tonight has revealed a lot of loopholes that indeed political parties have not lived up to achieve what the Constitution envisages about political parties. On political parties hygiene and the turning point, briefly as we come to the end of our episode tonight, what are the steps? As an elder who has been in different regimes, as an elder who is leading a political party that you spoke about its vision, what is the way forward?
I want to tell Kenyans, when our forefathers fought for independence, they fought on a platform of 3 issues to liberate Kenya from ignorance, which is Uchinka, which has been done through the Minister of Education, Makonchwa, which has been done through Minister of Health, and poverty, which was never addressed. Now, since now God has opened a way that we are going to Canaan, land of Milekanani, I would urge them, this is the best way to go. And we have been following people. We have actually been making mistakes as Christians because we depend on the political leaders. Which means you are following a human being. Like the symbol of Jubilee. There are two people holding hands. That is Ruta and Uru holding hands. So the party belongs to them. So why are we following people who are? It's exactly showing that we are being misled. So I think there will be a change, and a change which is coming like tsunami, because everybody will now run away from those other parties to New Democrats. Like now, what we want to do in the first place, seeing is I'm bringing these employees from outside. I've got a small piece of land here in Nairobi, and I'm putting 290 40-foot containers. And I want people to adapt those containers. And these containers are divided into five shops, small shops. I want those 5 shops, every constituency, to fed for 2 people, 1 lady, one man, so that one will work on a day, another works at night. Because we'll have here 24-hour economy. I've adapted one for Marakwet West. These containers, I've given the land, and these people will be paying rent for the place, so that they can adapt it. So we are starting that way so that we move.
That's a model to give line and a future for how people should engage to empower themselves through political parties and establishments.
Yes, and we're doing it here in Nairobi because those guys, when they come from abroad, when they come in, they may not be able to reach the rural areas. So they'll come here and interact with the people here. In the office, who will interact to the constituency and interview them, and they can be seeing what's happening in the constituency, and there will be a structure for economic empowerment for the people in the rural areas
across the country. Many thanks, Mheshimiwa. Then lastly, as a father of the house, New Democrats, what do you tell the other house, the Jubilee House, briefly, when we're having this pandemic and so many other problems that are facing the country? Can they put their words on hold until further notice, or what do you have for them?
Yes, I'm calling upon them to observe hygiene in talking. Don't be quarreling, because what are you teaching the young people? If you start quarreling and you have everything within yourself, you are even exposing your ignorance. By you are telling us that you are coming together with selfishness, because you cheated us that you are bringing Kenya together. And now when you start quarreling, party will not take you anywhere. A political party will not take you anywhere. There will be new people coming up, and you cannot cheat us anymore, please. So I'm sorry. And I like the way the president is handling it, because the president, by the way, is sisi ni watu wa rika moja, and I like the way he was. He's mature in this. He doesn't quarrel. He lives to other people who are talking. And even today he talked to us through the radio, and I heard him speak clearly. And there is a message which I want to tell the president, because when he was in parliament, we were together serving parliament, 8 and 9 parliament, he told me, I had invited him to my constituency. And he told me, and I had asked him, please, have some money so that we can give to the people there. And he told me, for how long are we going to do this? Now I've got an answer. Unless we empower these people, we'll always be giving out money. We want to empower the people so that they can do their work. And this is in Exodus 18. Yes, when Jethro came to see Moses seeing the people from from morning to evening, having them in queues. Said, for you seeing all these people, you'll get tired. My son-in-law will get tired. He will wear out, and these people will also wear out because their son is planning on them. So he told them, put them in groups of 10, 50, 100, and 1,000, and appoint a God-fearing person. And that's what we're going to do as a party. We're going to appoint the people in these areas. So it is first come, first serve. We'll give you an opportunity, and people can come come and see me, so that they can be the first ones. But we want to give the serving people now because an opportunity.
Exactly.
Because we want the Kenyans to cross to go to Canaan. We don't want to bully each other. We are going to give the serving members of parliament and the Senate and so forth, those who have been elected, we'll give them a ticket because we are going. This is God who is taking us to Canaan, not me. It's not. It's just. I'm just a vessel. God has spoken to me, so that we lead Kenyans to go to Canaan.
Many thanks, Mheshimiwa.
And we're going to give the president to be the leader, because Abbas has only one steering wheel. So that steering wheel will be held by
one person.
One person. Which is
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Our time has come to an end. We appreciate your overwhelming responses on our social media platforms. Honorable David Sudi served as a member of parliament for Marakwet West. He didn't stop there. He went further and served in 3 different ministries, and currently he is a party leader of New Democrats Party. We brought him on board at a time when the country is facing a pandemic, and at the same time we see the case of members of our ruling party fighting over a party. He has exploited a number of avenues on how Kenyans can use political parties to emancipate themselves, to liberate themselves from all the different problems that they are facing. We appreciate your audience, and we really encourage your feedback because it keeps us going. For me, Cornelius Omuse, I wish you a good night.